welcome back to episode 4 of Ocean Block 2. Today we want to jump into the automation bandwagon, so let's get right into it as this could be a little in-depth. So today our plans for automating ore require some integrated dynamics, so let's get some mineral. A few trees later and some squid annihilation, and we have what we need to make a drying basin and a squeezer. These are some of the most basic machines. Simply toss in a mineral log inside the squeezer and jump away. We then wait a short bit and get a mineral block. It's super simple. My first task is to create a simple storage network to make crafting everything later in the video a lot easier. Thankfully, these are quite simple to craft, only needing a variable input and output transformer and some illuminated panels. Just like that, we have the start to our integrated dynamic system. We then went ahead and crafted up some diamond chests for storage. This mod isn't quite as nice as Applied Energistics, as we need physical storage for every single item. Simply throwing down a chest, putting an item interface on the chest, and connect it to the crafting interface, and we have a simple storage system. With having a lot of items in the system, I went ahead and added a few more diamond chests just so we can store everything for now. At this point, we are pretty much out of redstone, so we adjusted our current sieve to use a flop so I could AFK this while going bowling. A quick diamond chest upgrade and an inventory full of items, we were prepared for sifting. So on that note, I'll be back in roughly 4 hours. Upon returning from bowling, we had 135 redstone chunks. Each of these chunks melt into 6 redstone, so I think we'll be good for a while. So on that note, let's get to automating. Let's throw down our 3 diamond sluices and throw the gold meshes in there until we can upgrade them all. Then I'll put some iron chests down at the end of them to pull items out of later. Next, with a bunch of iron hammers, let's start creating gravel, sand, and dust. It's a simple yet effective system, and for now we'll just hopper items into the hammers out of each cobble gen. Throw some drawers at the end of the line and watch the magic happen. Now again, it's not the fastest system, but it'll keep up with our needs for now. Alright, now it's time to try and connect all of this to our network. On the back of the diamond sluice is where we want to export items to. Let's throw down an item exporter. Now these monodirectional connectors are what I'm here for. These are basically wireless connectors. We'll point one in this direction, and on the other side we want to run it in a straight line and have it point towards the one on the other side. Now we put some item interfaces on the drawers and hook up some cables to it. We then need to hook another wireless connector from the main system to the sluice side. And with everything hooked up, we are now able to see all of that from the main crafting terminal. How cool is that? Next, we need to program the exporter in order for them to do what we want. This is very simple. Using a portable logic programmer and some logic cards, we simply select item, throw the item we require in the top middle slot, and then we put a card in the bottom right. We simply only need one for sand, gravel, and dust. Inside the item exporter, we then put the card inside the export item slot. Now I encountered a weird bug here where I was only able to put the card in the slot when I right-clicked. So if you encounter this bug, hopefully you can deal with it now. With items automatically being exported, we now need to automate water. Again, we'll need 3 variable cards for the fluid of water and 3 fluid exporters this time. Throw them on the bottom of the sluice, and again, throw the cards in the export fluid slot. We'll then go down a few blocks, throw down a basic fluid tank with a fluid interface on top, 4 floppers, and this thing is automated. And if we go to the top, this thing works exactly as planned. Let's hook up the storage drawers to this system now. I threw the storage controller in the front of the chest, as it'll be easier to hook pipes up to it. Then behind the whole system, I threw down the compacting drawers and linked them all back up again. Throw down some item pipes, set them to export, and watch this thing fly. This thing is working like a champ. So let's throw an item interface on the drawer controller so the whole system can see it. Oh man, isn't this a sight to see? Ores being automated, and we can see them in the storage system. And just like that, all of our ores are automated. Well, not quite all of them. So let's solve that. Let's turn on another diamond sluice and a gold mesh, then make our way over to the auto hammers. Over here, we'll throw down lava. A jar on top of that with a jar automator on top of it again. Next to that, we'll again hop for cobblestone to automate lava. Over one block, we need to have a superheated jar. So we'll put down a piece of soul soil with another jar on top of that, again with a jar automator. Then pipe lava into this jar from the tank. Now, while we were at it, I went ahead and moved the jar from the main island over here as well. Let's place a crafting interface on here, and we can assign crafting recipes for the jar. We again take the logic programmer, select recipe, throw a redstone cluster inside to craft 6 redstone. Throw that card inside the crafting interface, and we can now auto craft redstone. Next, I went ahead and crafted a crafting job terminal so we could see exactly what was actually being requested to craft, and so we can see redstone being properly produced. And during this time, there was another airdrop. Inside, we got some sweet magma walker boots. We'll see what those things are about later in this episode, or maybe in the next. So let's get back to automating. This part got a bit messy, and it's been a while since I automated a lot with integrated dynamics, so hopefully I can explain this part in depth. So to start, we will be using an inventory reader, so we can read a whole lot of information about this drawer. What we care about is the quantity of netherrack inside. Okay, so with our cards, we have to create an int, which is short for integer, and we'll set that to the quantity we want to keep. In our case, it's 512. We then need a less than operator, so if our inventory of netherrack contains less than 512 netherrack, we get a true statement. We then need 2 different cards for items. One of the cards will be redstone, while the other is blank, and you'll see why in a second. Next up, we need to choose what's called a choice. It takes an input that is either true or false and does one or the other statements. So on the left side, we'll put the less than card we just created. So we need to set this so if the less than is true, export redstone. Whereas if the less than is false, export nothing. Then on the item exporter, we will throw the choice card inside and check if that works. Well, it does work, but we need to limit the amount of items inside this jar. I only want 1 redstone in here at a time. Sadly, there's no way that I'm aware to limit the amount of items inside this jar through integrated dynamics. So let's try something different. Let's grab ourselves a laser node from Laser.io, and we'll see if we can figure it out this way. We put the node in front of the jar, and we'll use the item exporter again with the same choice card inside. The item card needs to be set to extract on the item exporter, and we need an insert card with a counting filter on the other side to only allow 1 item of that type inside. And bingo! Just like that, we can auto-craft redstone and turn redstone into netherrack. Now we're basically going to be doing the same system as before with the gravel. We'll throw down an iron hammer, set up an export bus, and use an export card to export netherrack into the iron hammer. I then threw a fluid interface on the lava barrel, an item export, and a fluid export to set lava on the sieve, and we are at it again and automated. I then set up a bunch of recipes for smelting ores in the jar, and that pretty much sets us up. Hopefully the exporter will request redstone if we run out, but if that doesn't work, I'll fix it later. Integrated Dynamics is quite the complex mod, so if you have any issues with it, I would love to help out. Leave a comment, I'll be sure to try and help out. With that though, I'm going to round out today's episode. Again, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see more Ocean Block 2. And until next time, keep automating.